Today, we're going to be talking about the effect of the ruling of the United States Supreme Court on Proposition 12, a California proposition that requires that all pigs or pork sold in that state have come from sows that had at least 24 square feet of space for them during their gestation. Supreme Court ruled that California can limit the pigs that are being sold in its market. Now, California consumes 15% of the pork produced in the United States. So, given that large amount of production that will be sold in California, it will necessarily have an impact beyond the state of California, because California only produces about 3% of the pigs of the United States. That means that other states like Iowa and North Carolina, or any other states where pigs are routinely produced, must be prepared that their pigs could end up going to California. In order for them to go to California, there has to be verification that the sows had 24 square feet of space. Most farrowing houses and gestation houses today do not comply with the California mandate. That may mean that producers that don't have breeding facilities that will comply with the California standards must consider retrofitting or increasing the size of the gestation facilities. It can lead to inefficiencies, and it's an expensive retrofit. It's actually easier to start over than it is to do that in a retrofit. Problem today is, unfortunately, that the hog industry is in a tailspin. I'm dealing with a producer now who is an integrator. That means a person who produces pigs that are then finished out in finishing barns. And this integrator has approximately 200,000 pigs, from weaners up to fat hogs. That's not large enough to make him in the top 20 in the state of Iowa. That shocked me. Producer was losing approximately $1 million a month earlier this year. And if you think that shocks you, I learned last week that there are integrators that are losing over $1 million a week. That's a one with 6 zeros behind it each week. So, with the losses that large in the pork industry, there are very few people that are willing to put the extra money out it may take to comply with Proposition 12. So many of the old breeding houses are probably going to go out of business. That also means that many of the current finishers may go out of business because the integrators can't afford to continue being in pork production. So right now, the ramifications for the pork industry are staggering. How long it will take for this to flesh out is unknown. But in states with large concentrations of pigs, like Iowa, South Carolina, and others, the economic impact could be devastating. It could well rival the economic impact of the farm crisis of the 1980s. This is due to the concentration of pigs in these states. It could also impact banks that have loaned money to these farmers for the finishing houses, the farrowing houses, and the integrators themselves. Because if there are not pigs kept in those buildings, they will quickly become less valuable. They will rust out, and before long be essentially useless. So it's important for us to consider that right now, while Prop 12 is something that concerns many farmers, the bigger question is, how do we stay in business whether or not Prop 12 is out there? That's a longer term problem. Right now, we have to stay in business in the short term. There are not great solutions to this problem for the pork producer. That's because this didn't take us overnight to get into the situation we're at, and we won't unring the bell quickly. It's not like you can just start up pig production quickly like you can producing broilers. The broiler production cycle from the start, time they decide they want to fertilize the eggs until you have chickens, is about 30 days. Then they're going to be in the raising house for about 6 weeks. So you got 42 days plus 30. All of a sudden, that's 72 days. The gestation period for the pig is 114 days. Then after that, it's 3 weeks till weaning, and then after that, about 6 months until you've got a fat hog. So 114 days plus 21 days means that we've got 135 days from the time of conception till the time that pig goes to the finishing house. Then you've got another 6 months or 180 days until that pig is ready to be slaughtered. So from conception to slaughter is going to be approximately 330 days, or roughly 11 months. You can't turn on a dime in the pork industry, and you can't build facilities on a quick fashion either. Therefore, the pork industry is in for a lot of stress. The question then becomes for the individual farmer, if you are an owner of pork barns or finishing barns, what can you do to protect yourself? There are some liens that can be filed in case you're not getting paid. And what's available varies from state to state. Iowa has one of the most protective statutes in the country on this. But Illinois, for example, is not very user-friendly or farmer-friendly in protecting the owner of the hog buildings if the integrators welch on their deal. Ag and Business Legal Strategy stands ready to assist farmers in determining their options moving forward.